Well, spray foam is a popular insulation in many homes, old and new. It's known as a great insulator and vapor barrier, but it also must be protected from fire.
And that has thrown a wrench into an Efficiency Nova Scotia program. Our consumer watchdog, Yvonne Colbert, explains.
Sally Richard lives in an older home in Colchester County. Her basement used to be unfinished concrete walls. Now it's fully insulated with spray foam, thanks to a free Efficiency Nova Scotia program for low-income residents. Richard says the insulation did make her home warmer and she was happy, but that changed earlier this year.
In March, my insurance company came by to look at our house, and the technician, as soon as he opened my basement door and went down the steps, he said, "Oh, we can't insure this."
King's Mutual Insurance told Richard the problem was the flame-retardant paint used as a thermal barrier to keep fire away from the flammable insulation.
The green is the foam, and the fire retardant is the white.
The insurance company said the paint wasn't good enough because it can chip and peel, exposing the insulation to fire, something she's noticed herself. She was told she'd have to install a physical barrier like gyprock over the insulation in order to keep her homeowner's policy. Concerned about fire, she did just that, at a cost of $3,700.
It is very frustrating to know that you've spent all that money and just to cover up something that you thought was free.
Efficiency Nova Scotia says King's Mutual is the only insurance company it's encountered that will not accept the spray-on paint as a thermal barrier.
Safety is the top priority of Efficiency Nova Scotia, and the last thing we would want to see is causing any of these homeowners any stress or safety concerns. The upgrades we perform are safe, they are code compliant, but we recognize this insurance provider is within their right to decide whether or not to insure these upgrades.
The organization has agreed to reimburse Richard for her expenses and says it will work with others in the same boat. We wondered what happens when the foam insulation comes in contact with fire. The Halifax Fire Service set up a demo for us, first using a blowtorch on the insulation itself.
So it's definitely like losing material, burning away.
Then they exposed another piece of insulation covered in flame-retardant paint to fire.
So what's supposed to happen is that it'll just bubble out and not let the heat get to the product on the other side.
And that's exactly what it did. We even made a cut in the paint. When that was subjected to flame, it again bubbled and expanded and covered the cut area, protecting the foam insulation underneath.
So interesting, Yvonne, that paint seemed to do what it was supposed to do.
It did, and Amy, it's important to note that paint was approved, and only approved products should be used for this kind of thing, and they should also be installed by licensed and certified people, so that's important to check on.
Okay, well, what does King's Mutual have to say about all this?
Well, they acknowledge that these flame retardant paints are in fact considered thermal barriers, accepted as thermal barriers, but they say their philosophy is life safety first, and they're simply going above and beyond the code requirements to ensure that their clients are safe. Their spokesperson says they can rebuild homes, they can't replace lives.
All right, well, thanks for this, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
Yvonne Colbert reporting for us tonight.